The Himalayas appear like a frozen fortress, giving nothing, not even enough air. Yet there are animals here, miraculous and extraordinary, nurtured by the mountains. For people too, the mountains shape their world. The animals of the Himalayas teach us about the beauty and fragility of life and the power of the most inhospitable mountains on Earth. The highest mountain range in the world forms a 3,000-kilometer scar across Asia, separating India from the Tibetan Plateau. Our journey is from west to east through the seasons. We start in Pakistan in winter. The Karakoram Range at the western end of the Himalayas is a world of golden eagles, snow leopards, markhors, bears, jackals, and wolves. The snow leopard stalks markhors, the wild mountain goats, using the falling snow as cover. At this altitude, and in winter, nothing is easy. Yet, despite the cold and the thin air, there is more life within the Himalayas than any other mountain range on Earth. The snow leopard has a fully grown cub. Families will stay together longer than any other cat. It's tough up here to make it alone. The difficulties of mountain life encourage companionship. The wolves work together, searching for frozen bodies under the snow. Himalayan wolves are from an old bloodline, relics of an early ancestor. Maybe this was the wolf's first home. The bonds within the pack and the mountain toughness, perhaps, help them to spread over half the world. Domestic dogs came from Asian wolves, so perhaps they too are a gift from the Himalayas. Is our companion on the hearthrug with us a consequence of an ancient lesson learnt in these mountains? It's winter, and the higher villages and farms are deserted. Life follows the seasons up and down the mountains. Until recently, our presence hardly registered at all on the biggest scar on the planet's surface. These mountains were born some 40 million years ago when India, pushing from the south, hit the rest of Asia. The land had nowhere to go but up, and folds reached over 8 kilometers high. The Himalayas are a massive crumple zone, reaching out of the air towards space. In winter, Most life retreats to below the snow line. Snow leopards aren't really leopards at all. They're relics of an ancient ancestor. A snow leopard's nearest relatives could be lions or even jaguars. The family follow the antics of the markhors. The markhors breed in winter. Males try to throw their rivals off cliffs. As well as fighting, the dominant buck follows the girls around, with his tongue hanging out. It's a distracting time for the does, perfect for the snow leopard. The markhor disappears around the corner. The snow leopard seems more puzzled than anything else. The snow leopards and markhors will disappear higher into the mountains. We too must look beyond the valleys to understand the extraordinary forces that rule the Himalayas. This is the largest deposit of accumulated ice and compacted snow outside the poles. Thousands of cubic kilometers of ice slide very slowly down the mountains as glaciers. The glaciers feed many of the greatest rivers in Asia. Tiny changes up here can affect parts of India and China thousands of kilometers away. We're moving east along the Karakoram range over the border between Pakistan and India. These peaks were carved during ice ages. It's about time for another ice age. But instead, the Himalayas are melting faster than seems possible naturally. Nature appears disturbed, shifting angrily, as though a delicate balance was being lost. As the glaciers descend and melt, water pours into crevasses and carves tunnels inside the ice. We are now in India, at Gaumukh, the cow's mouth, one of the several holy sources of the Ganges. Pilgrims take a ritual bath in its freezing, milky waters. The river, Mother Ganges, is revered as a goddess, influencing millions of lives.
In New York City, a crime is committed every 8 seconds. But there's one thing more corrupt than the criminals. The cops. The blockbuster movie starring Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone. Copland, 9:30 Sunday on 1.
As we approach middle age, bone loss slowly begins. Vitamin D helps strengthen your bones, and Australia's #1 vitamin D brand is Australin. Take the Australin vitamin D test now and assess your risk at dtest.com.au.
Unwind with the naturally brewed tea leaves of Real Iced Tea, now in low sugar, brewed to hit the spot.
Wish your old bathroom had this kind of wow.
It can. Right now at Beaumont's, you can save up to 26% on bathroom wear in their huge catalogue sale.
Wow.
And don't forget their price beat guarantee on tiles.
It's your one-stop shop for a wow of a new bathroom.
Beaumont Tiles.
Wow, looking good.
You think you've already found your ideal hotel? Well, before you book, check on Trivago to see if you can find it somewhere else for an even better price. Hotel Trivago.
Our path continues east from the Karakorums in Pakistan into India and towards Nepal. Spring is climbing the mountain, and upland forests are returning to life. It's a surprise to find monkey mountaineers, but the Himalayas have many. In April, flowers and buds feed langur monkeys. They winter in the valleys and follow the snowline up the mountains in spring. There is something about mountain life, the hardship perhaps, the fragility, that actually changes the character of the animals that live here. Himalayan langurs are distinct from their lowland cousins. Up here is a more friendly society. Farther down the mountain, the males fight for the control of a harem. But here, they all live together in one group. Warm clouds work their way up alpine valleys. The snow leopards go deeper into the mountains, impossible to follow. The Himalayas are still largely inaccessible and unexplored. By May, bees have come out of hibernation or joined others coming up from the valleys below. Giant cliff bees build 3-foot combs that are a rippling wall of bodies. Waving their abdomens in unison is a defensive warning to keep clear. The bees' efforts are in vain. Human honey hunters scale the cliffs. The bees are the biggest in the world and amongst the most dangerous. They cut out these storage cells with 5-meter poles into a relay of baskets. Even the best protective clothes and a screen of smoke is not enough, and the honey hunter retreats to savour perhaps the most delicious and dangerous honey in the world. People have searched for magical ingredients here for thousands of years and discovered a powerful human aphrodisiac. A little solitary deer produces a musky resin from a small gland on its stomach. The musk deer has influenced love and fashion across the world. The most famous perfumes are based on his scent. From Cleopatra onwards, kings and queens wooed with musk. Muslims maintain it as the smell of heaven, and they added it to the mortar of the mosques so that the temples smelt of paradise. Affecting religion and history, or giving us Chanel and Dior, is not the musk deer's intention. All he wants is to be noticed by a female musk deer. While we may want to smell like Himalayan animals, wanting to look like them is rarer, but it does happen. The monal pheasant, high above India and Pakistan, is all flash, all show. Males compete in a dance of crests and colours. Curiously, in the shadow of the mountains, the guards on the India and Pakistan border do an irresistibly similar dance. Even the posturing walk, perhaps, echo the bird display. But the contest of thumbs seems more like the mark or stag, all horns and tongues. India and Pakistan are feuding neighbours. How much better if all conflicts could be fought out in this way?
When their land was being taken, one man stood his ground.
That is sedition!
Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis stars as the first American hero. The Last of the Mohicans, Monday on 1.
We humans are an ingenious bunch. Give us a problem and we'll find a way to solve it. And at Energy Australia, we believe that nowhere are those solutions needed more urgently than the world of energy. So to light the way for all of us, we're offsetting carbon emissions, partnering with leading thinkers, and investing in renewable resources. Because who knows what could be next? Energy Australia, light the way.
Naughty?
No, they're Maltesers.
Yeah.
Maltesers, the lighter way to enjoy chocolate.
Magic is being there for your team, even when you can't. You still want to be in the middle of it all, there for every mark, every shot, every goal, and every try, because it's all about the moments we share. The highs and lows, the feeling you get when you say, I was there. AFL, NRL and netball. Stream it live, fast and data-free. Only with Telstra.
Drop into your local IGA today for the gigantic sale. Get gigantic savings on Coca-Cola 30-pack, now half price. And Cadbury share packs, also half price.
The bold new Honda Civic comes with a wide-angle reversing camera as standard, so you can get going with ease.
Bring up maps.
And with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto across the range, you're free to chase it in any direction, wherever your dreams may lead. The bold new Honda Civic from only $24,990 drive away.
She's fighting to prevent an attack more devastating than 9/11.
But someone closest to her is fighting for the terrorists.
What the hell is going on?
Who are you working with? 24 Legacy, Sunday.
Below mountain borders, following glacial meltwater in streams and rivers, is a watery plain, the Ganges Basin. Here, cranes have their own dances. This is the lowest we go. From here, we will return to the highest peaks. Many birds are hemmed in by the Himalayas, like these Saurus cranes. But to bar-headed geese, the mountains are no obstacle. From the base of the Himalayas in India, we head to Nepal and Bhutan, mountain kingdoms on the top of the world. The Himalayas are made of range upon range of mountains, building height. The air becomes dangerously thin. Bar-headed geese are the highest flying birds in the world. The higher they go, the faster the jet stream. 150 km/h tailwind catapults them over the Himalayas. Bar-headed geese fly higher than Everest. Their blood is different, with special hemoglobin, and they can breathe faster and deeper, many gulps for each wing beat. They suffer severe hypoxia, way beyond any human athlete, pushing the boundaries of pain. Bar-headed geese are not alone. Some cranes, less well adapted, gawky compared to the geese, attempt the journey. Demoiselle cranes find ways through high mountain passes, mothers leading their young. The cranes use rising currents of air to gain height, to battle over ridges, then descend into valleys to recover. There, waiting for them, are golden eagles. The eagles try to separate young cranes from the flock. The predators hunt cooperatively, like so many others here. The young crane escapes one and is caught by another. There is nothing the rest of the flock can do. The demoiselle cranes battle on, but ahead are the largest obstacles in the world, and the biggest of all, Everest. One animal has learnt to survive, briefly, at the top. We don't need to conquer these mountains. There's no breeding site to get to, and no adaptation to help us. Yet every year, hundreds of people push their physiology for medical research, or more often, for themselves. The top is called the death zone. A combination of the best view in the world and being in no state to enjoy it. Winds average hurricane force, temperatures 50 below zero. And a calm day can quickly change. Over 200 people have died here, many abandoned on the mountain. About 10% of climbers attempting the summit lose their lives, and many more are injured.
Sunday, Lisa Curry face to face with her greatest fear.
Oh my God. You're okay, you're okay, you're okay.
Lisa Curry's unmissable trial and a live elimination. 7 o'clock Sunday.
At the A2 Milk Company, we bring you the only milk that naturally contains only the A2 protein and no A1. A lot of people who drink A2 milk say they just feel better. What if more of us could feel better? A2 milk is completely natural and the way milk's meant to be. The A2 Milk Company. Believe in better.
Let's go, let's go! Victorian Caravan Camping and Touring Super Show ends Monday at the Melbourne Showgrounds. Something for everyone, and you can win great prizes. Get your tickets online or at the gate. Hurry, ends Monday. Proudly sponsored by CIL Insurance.
Let's go! Water. It's a playground for many leisure pastimes, but it's not without risks. And as we grow older, the risks increase. Research shows that the over 65s are at greater risk of drowning than any other group, because with age, fitness often declines. So if you're over 65 and you're around water, remember, never overestimate your abilities and never underestimate the risks. Always play it safe by the water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Staying hydrated while exercising and playing sport is important. So is our choice of hydration. Hydrolyte Sports offers just the right balance of minerals and salts to help maintain hydration. Used before, during and after exercise, it's available ready to drink or as an effervescent tablet. And 4 out of 5 people agree this high electrolyte, low sugar drink tastes great. Hydrolyte Sports, available at these leading retailers. Brand power, helping you buy better.
Get into Repco this weekend because RACV members get a massive 30% off. That's 30% off oils, tools, spare parts and heaps more. That's a massive 30% off for RACV members. This weekend only at Repco.
Wish your old bathroom had this kind of wow.
It can. Right now at Beaumont's, you can save up to 26% on bathroom wear in their huge catalogue sale.
Wow.
And don't forget their price beat guarantee on tiles.
It's your one-stop shop for a wow of a new bathroom.
Beaumont Tiles.
Wow, looking good.
You're a successful professional. In life, you always strive for the best. So when looking for a serious relationship, why settle for anything less?
Get to know someone worth getting to know. Register today at elitesingles.com.au.
Drop into your local IGA today for the gigantic sale. Get gigantic savings on Mars ice creams, now half price. And Tresemme shampoo or conditioner, also half price.
No cooking show, book or blog will ever compare to the thrill of a hot kitchen. It's time to smell the magic. Get your hands dirty again. You see, you're not a cook until you cook. So strap on your aprons and reach for the Murpac.
Say hello to Kia Sportage GT line, packed with features like panoramic sunroof.
Beyond Nepal and Bhutan, following the cranes and geese over the Himalayas, instead of finding lush plains at sea level, we discover a high, cold, dry plateau, hardly lower than the peaks themselves. it is Tibet. Glacial rivers thread through a desiccated landscape the size of France, but higher than anything in the Alps or the Rockies. The Himalayan peaks are just the jagged edge, the ramparts of a wall, with the Tibetan plateau hidden behind. The animals cope with extreme altitude, thin air, and a tough life. The snow leopards look the same, but there are also new characters. This is a brown bear, a grizzly in all but name and tufted ears. He's rare, timid, and hardly ever filmed. The Tibetan fox hunts a rodent called a piker. Pikers live in dens like ground squirrels or rabbits and eat the tough grass. Pikers are the staple food of any predator. He's the most wonderful-looking fox, square-jawed, eyes of cunning, and a twisted, knowing smile. The fox and the bear go around as a team. More high-altitude cooperation, perhaps, or maybe the wily fox just follows the bear around, hoping to nab a piker from under the bear's nose. It's midsummer now, but the ground is usually frozen and only the bear has the strength to dig out the pikers. If the bear is digging up one end of the burrow, the fox is ready for the pikers to emerge at the other end in a panic. The bear missed out. The fox eats some and buries the rest. The deep permafrost will help keep it fresh. The Tibetan plateau is so high that despite being the same latitude as North Africa, even in late spring, the temperature is icy. At 4,500 meters live chiru, Tibetan antelopes. The chiru puff like steam engines in the cold, thin air. A male guards his harem, breathing clouds of misty condensation. There are other males eyeing up his females. A neighbor might come charging in to kidnap one for his own. In these Arctic conditions, it's very surprising to find a small snake. In places, hot springs are a sign of volcanic activity below. The snake survived its home being pushed over 4 kilometres straight up by holding out in this natural sauna. The hot spring snake is a lost relic. Their nearest cousins are across the world in America. The streams flow into lakes, now home to the bar-headed geese after their epic journey over the Himalayas. One of the prettiest birds chooses the roof of the world to have up to 10 beautiful goslings. The goslings have to feed themselves right from the start. Bar-headed geese always nest by water for food, but also to escape the hardy Tibetan wolf.
What do you get when you multiply explosive action and non-stop drama in an epic crime series?
Hold on. You know I got like a C in physics.
They're the most calculated cops on television. Numbers, 7:30 Sunday on 1.
At the A2 Milk Company, we bring you the only milk that naturally contains only the A2 protein and no A1. A lot of people who drink A2 milk say they just feel better. What if more of us could feel better? A2 milk is completely natural and the way milk's meant to be. The A2 Milk Company. Believe in better.
All done. Let's get you cleaned up before Mum gets home.
That'll work. Dentistix cleans so you can get closer.
The bold new Honda Civic comes with a wide-angle reversing camera as standard, so you can get going with ease.
Bring up maps.
And with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto across the range, you're free to chase it in any direction, wherever your dreams may lead. The bold new Honda Civic from only $24,990 drive away.
Real jeans, in skinny or straight, and 3 washes that make you feel really great at an unreal $19.95.
Really?
Yes, really. Harris Scarf. Great jeans, great prices.
What about this guy?
This guy's been through a lot.
Dogs bring out the good in us. Pedigree brings out the good in them. Feed the good.
I have called you here tonight to tell you how we are going to win.
When we went after Wall Street, we got what we could get. That ends today.
Whatever choices you've been making, they sure as hell aren't working.
You never give anyone your playbook.
Axelrod stirs a man to savagery.
You gotta finish him.
That'll be expensive.
Well, then it's a good thing I'm a rich man.
Brand new Billions, now streaming only on Stan.
Let's go, let's go! Victorian Caravan Camping and Touring Super Show ends Monday at the Melbourne Showgrounds. Something for everyone, and you can win great prizes. Get your tickets online or at the gate. Hurry, ends Monday. Proudly sponsored by CIL Insurance. Let's go!
An irritating itch is hard to ignore, and it can be caused by your antiperspirants. Introducing Dove Men Plus Care with a new formula. With 48 hours sweat protection and 1/4 moisturiser technology, it's tough on sweat, not on skin.
This is the story of a boy who stood out from the pack.
I was living in the whitest place on earth, and every time I met a new black person, I would put a mark in this notebook.
A boy who turned into an extraordinary man.
You are doing everything right, son.
8:40 Wednesday on 10.
Novice monks are practicing their Tibetan horns. Buddhism was born on the other side of the Himalayas, overlooking India, but its mountain philosophy soon spread to Tibet. A love of nature and animals is one of its teachings. Cranes are symbols of a long life and a faithful partnership. Buddhists believe in reincarnation, and that every animal has a spirit that one day will become a person, and that every person has lived as an animal. So wildlife is looked after carefully, and, like this crane with a wounded wing, fed and nursed back to health. It's another example of how the Himalayas affect people and animals alike and increase sensitivity and cooperation. For those who live in the shadow of the Himalayas, a little can be given back in the most extraordinary and extreme way possible. A sky burial is the ultimate homage to the mountain. After you die, you're taken up a revered peak and left to feed the vultures. Buddhists believe that all life is connected. Each animal depends on another, even becomes another. It's an idea born in these mountains from an understanding of the power of nature and the complexity of life. The Buddhists look to the mountains particularly for reliable water in calm streams. But flowing east are massive and changeable rivers, the lifeblood of a billion people. The Yangtze, the Yellow River, the Yarlung and the Mekong are all born here on the Tibetan plateau. To the north runs the Yellow River, so called because of the huge amount of glacial soil it brings to China, a wealth of fertility. They called the Yellow River the mother of Chinese civilization. It has another name too, China's sorrow. The floods have killed millions of people down the generations. As the climate changes, the river will change. And China's sorrow may take on a new meaning. Thousands of dams battle to harness and control nature for ourselves. Another of Tibet's massive rivers continues our journey east. Then it turns south and cuts straight through the Himalayas. The Yarlung Brahmaputra from Mount Kailash and the Nijiang, the Yangtze and the giant Mekong all slice through the mountains, creating the most extraordinary place yet. Some of the gorges are double the depth of the Grand Canyon, the rivers the wildest in the world. It makes getting around difficult and tests the ingenuity of the Yunnan people. Cable crossings of rattan rope have been in use for hundreds of years, before steel was introduced. This is the main route to market. Getting around may be harder, but these deep fissures draw warm, wet air in from the tropics. The valleys act like the pipes of a central heating system and create tropical paradises high in the mountains, like the mythical Shangri-La. To the Chinese particularly, this is heaven, hidden beyond the clouds. Tropical monkeys like bear macaques live on rainforest fruit at 8,000 feet. Each Garden of Eden has unique animals and plants, walled in by mountains, pockets of exceptional biodiversity. The mountain chains running into China are a sanctuary from the plains below. Elephants and leopards are fleeing from farmers and loggers. These high tropical forests are a miraculous paradise. Sunbirds drink nectar from epiphytes. Musk deer provide the fragrance of heaven, while in a private corner is another love story. A pheasant plays peekaboo with a prospective mate. The Temminck's Tragopan hopes his bright wattle and dance will show he'll be a worthwhile husband. She seems less than convinced and moves away. He follows, displaying on the move, ever hopeful. But by midsummer, it's too late, and he tucks his wattle away for another year. Above the warmer valleys, another world. Steep woods filled with lichen. The Yunnan snub-nosed monkeys specialize in the lichen and so are trapped at the high altitude that it grows. At 4,300 meters, they're the highest primates in the world, except for a few of us. Large troops are formed of many families, each with a Buddha-like male and several wives. Last year's young help with the babies. They are curious looking, some like little elves, and some like plastic surgery gone too far. At the height of summer, a strange cooling brings snow to the mountains. the snub-nosed monkeys feel the change in the weather. Each July, the snow comes in and the monkeys shiver. The monsoon has begun. The cold mountains draw tropical air from the Indian Ocean thousands of kilometers away. Clouds pile up and from July to September deliver most of the annual snow and rain. Without the Himalayas driving the monsoon, southern Asia would be a desert. Soil and mud, ground up by glaciers, pour off the mountains. The monsoon can bring life and joy, or destruction and sorrow. Life depends on the mountains, the character of which is unpredictable. It's not just a religious belief, but a scientific fact as well. In places, we shape the mountains to our will, to provide more food. Rice paddies are some of the oldest human structures on Earth.
David Attenborough has searched high and low, near and far, and finally he's found it.
It's something I've wanted to see ever since I first heard about it.
It's the greatest wildlife show on Earth. Sunday on 1.
Something really big is happening at Crown. The $1 Million Cash Draw, exclusive to Crown Rewards members. Register a visit and be at the draw at 7:30 p.m. every Sunday at Crown.
You coming tonight? Come, it's gonna be fun.
Keep reinventing with the new HP Spectre X360, powered by Intel Core processors.
You're a successful professional. In life, you always strive for the best. So when looking for a serious relationship, why settle for anything less?
Get to know someone worth getting to know. Register today at elitesingles.com.au.
Hey, Dad, pass the sauce.
Sauce.
Hey, Dad, could you pass me the sauce? Dad, can you pass the sauce?
ask Grandpa the sauce, please? Did your mum teach you that trick?
On True Crime Tuesday, find out how the most sadistic monsters were brought to justice in one chilling new series.
If you hadn't caught me at 15 bodies, it could well have been 115.
Countdown to Murder is next.
The cultures that understand the Himalayas say we must give something back. They say all life is connected, and each animal depends on another, even becomes another. It's as if the mountains are trying to teach us something else too. A very old lesson about the power of nature and the fragility of our lives.
One of Britain's most notorious serial killers, Dennis Nielsen, had an insatiable appetite for killing.
He actually said to me, if you hadn't caught me at 15 bodies, it could well have been 115.
Behind the facade of a mild-mannered civil servant hid a killer of pure evil.
There was something extremely odd about this man.
Nielsen killed 15 men, but his first victim was a 14-year-old boy, Stephen Holmes.
Nielsen said, I remembered that I didn't want him to go home and he was going to leave, and I think I strangled him.
In a story that has never been told before, Nielsen murdered Stephen Holmes and lived with his corpse for 8 months.
The smell is everywhere, isn't it? It's under the floorboards, in the walls.
It set Nielsen on a journey that would only end when he killed 14 more men. But his attempts at disposal finally caught him out.
I said, Mr. Nielsen? He said, yes. I said, I've come about your drains.
They fought for their lives, those guys. And he was merciless.
While Dennis Nielsen drank to forget that his companion had left him, 14-year-old Stephen Holmes enjoyed a night out at a rock concert. 2 parallel lives, destined to tragically collide. This is the story of Dennis Nielsen's Countdown to Murder. After a troubled childhood, Dennis Nielsen grew into a lonely and bitter man who struggled to relate to the world around him.
I think the loneliness came from his inability to connect with people. He was paranoid. He always thought people were talking about him, saying bad things about him.
After years of loneliness, in 1975, Nielsen met David Galichan, and for 2 years they lived together in a garden flat at 195 Melrose Avenue in Willesden Green, North London. While Nielsen went to work, Galichan played housekeeper. With Nielsen's dog Bleep, it was the closest he'd ever come to family life. Nielsen and Galichan appeared to be content, and on the surface seemed to be a happy couple. But there was no deep bond, and they had little in common, and over time, tensions grew between them.
Nielsen used to treat David Galichan like a bit of dirt, actually. He gave him a rough time. It wasn't a good, loving relationship.
The relationship broke down. Galichan packed his bags and left.